Hello children, it's Sanjeev sir from Srimati LPSAVANI VIDHYABHAVAN, your statistics educator, welcoming you all to the class of statistics. Here now, children, we shall discuss our 10th sum. See our 10th example. To know the relation between the average monthly income in rupees and the income due to the overtime of the workers, the following information is obtained from 6 different factories of an area manufacturing similar kind of products. Find the correlation coefficient between the average monthly income and the income due to overtime. So over here 6 years are there from 2011 to 2016. They have given us the average monthly income, right, and they have also given us the income due to overtime. Now we know, as we need to find out correlation coefficient, the first step is to find out the mean, right. Over here, because 6 years are there, your n is equal to what? Your n is equal to 6. While we talk about x bar, you will add all the numbers, that is 14,900 to 15,800, and you are going to divide it by 6. You are getting something like 15,333.33. Similarly, we need to find out y bar. For y bar, we know is sigma yi upon n. That is, you are going to add 100, 105, 115, 160, 220 and 255. The total summation you are getting is 955. Again, because there are 6 different years, you are going to divide it by 6. As you divide it, you are getting 159.17. Now children, just see how we find out u and v, right. Now first of all, just see, because over here the means are in decimals, okay, we can't use our first method. Similarly, as I taught you earlier, that see the variables of x and the variables of y, there is vast difference between these two variables, and that's why over here we even can't use xy method. So what we need to use? We need to use the uv method. For using uv method, we are going to find out u first, right. Now to find out the u, we know it is always x minus a upon cx. Now see, I have explained you earlier also over here how they have taken 15,300 for a. Always take the number which is nearer to mean. Over here the number is, the mean that you found out is 15,333.33. So they have taken a round figure in the multiples of 100, that is x minus 15,300, right. And as you will deduct children, you will always find, see over here x variable, all are in the multiples of 100, all are in the multiples of 100, right. And that's why you would find what we have done is that to reduce the number more, we have divided it by 100. Deducting 15,300 is the change of origin, and dividing the whole number by 100, it is actually change of scale. The similar method we are going to use for finding out v. Over here the formula for v becomes y minus b upon cy. Now for b, we have taken 160. Now y 160. Over here y bar, you would find the number is coming up to 159.17. It is quite nearer to 160. And you would find, if you see the y variable, you would find all the numbers are in the multiples of 5, right. And that's why what they have done is that you would find 160 is deducted from y divided by 5. Why? Because all the answers that you will get after deducting 160 will be in the multiples of 5. That is how you got your v, right. We'll see the sum further. Now see how the table is to be made. The x column we have taken up, there is the average monthly income. Similarly the y column, right. Now as we have discussed yuv method, right, so I am not going to discuss this furthermore. See the formula for r below. It is our uv method, that is n sigma uv minus sigma u sigma v whole upon under root n sigma u square minus sigma u whole square into under root n sigma v square minus sigma v whole square, right? We had also seen the formula, right? We have also seen the formula for u, that is what we are going to use, that is x minus 15,300 divided by 100, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to find out in the similar fashion with the formula. We will find out the column of u, that is, you can say your x is what? Your x is 14,900 minus 15,300 whole divided by 100, you will get minus 4. Similarly, your x is 15,100, right, minus 15,300 divided by 100 will give you minus 2. Okay, similarly you are going to find out the answers for each and every row, right, and the total that you are getting is 2, right? Similarly, we are going to have v, as we have seen that it is actually your y, say minus 160 divided by 5, right? So over here y is what? 100 minus 160, right, will give you minus 60 divided by 5, it will give you say minus 12. That is your first row for v, right? Similarly, 105 minus 160 divided by 5 will give you minus 11. 115 minus 160 divided by 5 will give you minus 9. 160 minus 160 divided by 5, obviously 0. Similarly, 220 minus 160, right, and divided by 5 will give you 19, and 12, sorry, then 255 minus 160 divided by 5 will give you 19. The whole summation is coming up to minus 1. Now you have seen our large sums also, right? After finding out u and v, what you are going to do? You are going to find out the column of uv, that is, see the first row, minus minus plus, 4 12s are 48, minus minus plus 2 into 11 22, minus minus plus 3 9s are 27, 2 into 0 will give you 2, 12 4s are 48, and 5 19s are 95. The total of the uv column is coming up to 240, right? After uv column, obviously the u square and the v square. Okay, u is minus 4, the square of minus 4 is 16. See the first column and the last column. The square of minus 2 is 4, the square of minus 3 is 9, the square of 2 is 4, again square of 4 is 16, and the square of 5 is 25. The column of u square is coming up to 74. Similarly, see again the first column and the last column, that is v square. What you are going to do? Minus 12 square will give you 144, minus 11 square will give you 121. Similarly, you are going to find out for all the rows, your total of the v square is coming up to 851. This is how we found out all the columns, right? After getting the total of all the columns, right, we are going to put up all the values over here into our formula, right? Putting up all the values into the formula, solving it using board mass, okay, the answer that you are getting is 0.9621. So over here, a round figure, approximate value we are going to take of r, that is 0.96, right? So over here we can say, see the interpretation, we can see that the value of r is very close to 1, thus that is a high degree of positive correlation, right, say between the average monthly income and the income due to overtime, right? That is how we basically do this 11th sum. We'll see the 11th question, children. Our example number 11, that for 6 different cities of Gujarat state, the approximate figures regarding their density of population, that is in per square kilometer, and the death rate, is per thousand, are given below, right? Over here you would find that there are 6 different cities, okay, of Gujarat. They had been given names A, B, C, D, E, F, right? Density in kilometers is been put up in our as x variable, that is 200, 500, 400, 700, 600 and 300. So if you have observed, all are the multiples of 100, right? Okay, come to the next variable. So death rate per thousand, that's 10, 12, 10, 15, 9 and 12. See the final question. Find the correlation coefficient between the density of population and the death rate from this information. Again, we need to find out what? We need to find out correlation coefficient. Okay. Now we'll see how we'll solve this sum. Again, what is our first step? Our first step is to actually find out the mean. Over here, basically there are 6 different types of information, right? So over n means what is 6. We'll find out mean, this x bar, the sigma xi upon n, right? Sigma xi that you are going to get, okay, is 2700, right? So 2700 divided by 6 give you 450. Now see children, over here the mean is without decimal. Okay, so there is possibility that that would be the first say formula to be used over here, but we'll also find out y bar and see how the mean is coming. Y bar you would find is sigma yi upon n, right? We'll do the total of y. It's coming up to 68. As you will do 68 divided by 6 is 11.33. Children, now this mean is with decimal. So over here again we can't use the first formula because the first mean was without decimal and but the second mean is with decimal. Okay, so first formula can be used. Now there is possibility to use the second formula, that is the xy method. But over here, so compare x and y. But if you see the numbers, there is a vast difference between the value of x and the value of y. Okay, the 3-digit numbers and the 2-digit numbers, vast difference, and that's why over here you even won't be using the xy formula. So over here we are going to use what? We are going to use u and v, the uv method. So see children, over here just below it you will see to the formula that they have given. They have also taken the uv method, that is n sigma uv minus sigma u sigma v upon under root n sigma u square minus sigma u whole square minus n sigma v square minus sigma v whole square, right? So over here, and now try to find out u and v, right? To find out u, okay, what they have done, they have taken a as 500. Now why 500? See above, the mean has come up to 450. So they have taken 500 so that they can have the answers that could come would be the multiples of 100. So x minus 500 they have taken. Instead of 450 they have taken 500, right? Then now why they have divided by 100? Because as you will deduct 500 from all the variables of x, all will be in the multiples of 100. So to reduce the number much more, they have divided it by 100, right? Then see how we can calculate v. V, the formula we know again, y minus b divided by c y. But over here you would find children, they have taken b as 12. Now why 12? Again the same concept. The y bar is 11.33. 12 is quite nearer to 11.33, that is our y bar, right? Okay, so that's why they have taken 12 and deducted 12 from y. Cy they have taken up 1. Now why cy has taken up 1? Means they have not divided by minus 12. Why? The reason children, if you see to the y variable, that is a death rate, okay, all the numbers which are there, okay, there is no common number, okay, in this given numbers. So you can't divide or you can't multiply. That's why they have only deducted 12 from y. That is only they have done change of origin, but they have not done change of scale. So that is how you find out v, right? Now putting this formula for u and v, we will have the columns of u and v, right? How now u would be found out? You would find it is as per the formula what we had discussed, that is x minus 500 divided by 100. That is, you would find 200 minus 500 divided by 100 will give you minus 3. 500, right, minus 500 divided by 100 will give you 0. See the third column. The third column, see the first row and the last row. 400 minus 500 divided by 2 will give you minus 1, right? Similarly, 700 minus 500 divided by 100 will give you 2. 600 minus 500 divided by 100 will give you 1. 300 minus 500 divided by 100 will give you minus 2. If you just total this column, it will come up to minus 3. So that is how you got your u. Then comes v. V, we have seen above that it would be y minus 12. You are over here needed to only change the origin. That is 10 minus 12 will give you minus 2. 12 minus 12 we know it's 0. What we need to do, all the numbers which we are having in y, we have to keep in y for the formula of v, right? So over here, while we talk about, say, the formula, right, we are using this formula, that is our y is our v is equal to y minus 12. Then you would find 12 minus 12 will give you 0, 10 minus 12 will give you minus 2, 15 minus 12 will give you 3. Then for the next row is minus 3 and 0. If you do the total of column of v, the answer that you will get is minus 4. That is how you got your v. Now we know we need uv. So to find out uv, we will multiply u and v, column of u and column of v. So minus minus plus, 3 2s are 6, 0 into 0 will give you 0, minus minus plus again, 1 2s are 2, 2 say 3s are will give you 6, 1 into minus 3 will give you minus 3, then minus 2 into 0 will give you 0, and as you do the total of whole uv, you will get this 11. So the total of 11 uv is 11, right? Then come to u square, right? How you find out the u square? Just do the square of whatever the value you are getting for u, right? So minus 3 का square कितना होता है? You will get 9. The square of 0 is 0. The square of minus 1 is minus 1. Square of 2 is 4. Square of 1 is 1. Square of minus 2 is 4 again, and square of minus 3 is, no, sorry, the total actually, the total of this is, you would find, as you do the total of all this, you will get 19, right? That is how you get your u square, right? Then we will get on to our v square. Now v square, again the same concept, right? Minus 2 का स्क्वायर कितना होता है? It's 4. 0 का स्क्वायर 0, minus 2 का स्क्वायर 4, 3 का स्क्वायर 9, minus 3 का स्क्वायर 9, 0 का स्क्वायर 0. Again see the whole total. The whole total of this is coming up to 26. So you got all the values, right? Now what we need to do? Simple. Put all the values into the formula, solve it out, get the answer. The r is coming up to 0.45, the approximate value, right? Over here you would find that it is again positive, but see children, it is not nearer to 1, not even nearer to 0. Okay, so how the interpretation could be? Just check it out. What they are given, you can see that the value of r is not very close to 1. Thus there is a moderate degree of positive correlation. Moderate degree. Why moderate over here? Why they have given the word moderate? Because it is just in between minus 4 5. It is not even nearer to 1, not even nearer to say minus 1. Okay, so that's what they are given, moderate say degree of positive correlation, right, between the density of population and the death rate. So that is how we do this 11th sum, and that is how we actually interpreted it. Okay children, now we'll see to this 12th sum, right? What they are given in this 12th sum, that in order to study the relation between the sales in crores and the profit in thousand, the truck tire manufacturing companies, the following information is obtained for the last year, right? Now see over here, sales have been given to you in crores. There's a variable x, but see children, all these numbers are in decimal: 1.6, 2.2, 1.9, 2, 2.3, 1.7, 2.4, 1.8 and 2.1. Similarly, the profits is in thousand actually, right? That is 4200, 5500, 60,000, 6,000, 6200, 6100, 4900, 5900, 5000 and 6700, right? Again children, try to find out the mean. Our first step once again, right? Our n, you would find there are 9 items, that's why our n is 9. Your x bar is sigma xi upon n. Again, the total if you do for the column of x is coming up to 18, right? Divided by 9, as n is 9, you will get 2. Similarly, you would find for y bar, the total is coming up to 50,500 divided by 9 is coming up to 5611. Again, children, over here, one of the means is without decimal and the other mean is say with decimal. That's why we can't use the first method for correlation coefficient. Now go for x and y. Now what could be done for x and y? But over here the numbers you would find, that is the sales and the profit. Okay, the column of the variable x are in decimal places, quite smaller number, but you would find the column of y, okay, they are in hundreds. So what's difference between these numbers? So we can't use xy method, we will use over here the uv method. Again over here you would find, children, over here 10 multiplied, see children, over here, see, it's very interesting, it's something different, unique. Okay, x minus 2 is there. Why 2? Because our mean has come up to 2. Over here, children, why they have taken 2? Why deducted 2? Because the mean, as we have seen, we should be taking the number much more nearer to mean. So they have taken exactly 2, right? This is change of origin. Now see, when they are, just listen to me very much carefully, right, that when they are multiplying, till now what we did, we used to divide for the change of scale. Over here for the first time, okay, they have multiplied it by 10. Instead of dividing, they have multiplied. Now why they have multiplied and not divided? The reason is that to take out the decimal numbers, or to take out the decimals. Over here the number was 2.0, it is in decimal. So to take out the decimal, it has been, and they have multiplied by 10. Okay, a very simple example I am giving you. Now suppose one number is there, 1.8. Now if I want to just remove this decimal, what I need to do, I need to multiply it by 10, because 1.8 we know it is 18 divided by 10. Now if I multiply it by 10, what will happen? This is 10, this is 10. Okay, if I multiply it by 10, this 0 and this 0 will get cancelled, and your answer would be what? Your answer would be 18. Now see, the decimal have removed. Okay, the decimal has been removed, right? And that's why to remove the decimal, instead of dividing, it has been multiplied by 10, right? Hopefully you understood this, how u had been calculated. Then comes y, right? For y also, okay, you would find that for v also you would find, sorry, it's y minus b into cy. Okay, again children, see over here, while we talk about, say, the mean has come up to 5611.11. okay, they have taken b very nearer to mean, that is 5600. okay, after deducting you will get all the numbers in hundreds. So they have just what they did is that they have divided it by 100, because after deducting you will get all the numbers in 100. So divide by 100, dividing it by 100, it's a change of scale, right? So that is how u and v could be calculated. So now the things are quite clear. You will write all the numbers in the column of x. There are all the numbers in the column of y. We had seen the formula what we will use. Just put up the value of x, calculate it. The total you will see, the total has come up to 0 for u. Similarly for v, we have seen what would be the formula of v. Just put up the value of y, right? Solve it, calculate it. Okay, you would find the total has come up to 1. Then children, uv, you just multiply u and v again, same method. Okay, multiply both the columns, right? That is minus 4 into minus 14 will give you minus 6. Similarly 2 minus 1 will give you minus 2. You are doing the multiplication of it. Similarly you will do for all of them. You will get uv, the column of uv. You will do total, is coming up to 121. Then comes your u square, right? For u square, again -4 का स्क्वायर कितना होगा 16, 2 का स्क्वायर कितना होगा 4, -1 का स्क्वायर कितना होगा 1. Similarly, you are going to do for the whole column. The total over here is coming up to 60. Similarly, for V, right? For V also you would find, okay, you would find over here, what is that? -14 का square 196. What is the square of -1? 1. What is the square of 4? It's 16. Square of 6 is 36. This is how you get your basically B square. Okay, fine. You got all the values. Put it into the formula. Solve it out. Okay, we'll see the solution in the next page, right? You'll solve it out and you will get the answer. All right, this is our basically the 12th sum. We'll see the answer to it and also we'll see to its interpretation. Here the same sum, right? Putting up all the values, you got 0.7065. Just approximate, the value is 0.71. Again the positive correlation. See the interpretation. We can see that the value of R is slightly far from 1. So we can say that there is a again moderately high degree of positive correlation between the sales and the profit. That is our interpretation. Okay, we'll see the 13th sum now. See example number 13. What they given in example number 13, that to study the relationship between the marks obtained in statistics X and say marks in economics Y of students of a school, a sample of 10 students is taken and the following information is obtained. So children, what is given over here? Sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar is equal to 120. This is what given to us. Sigma x minus x square is 80. Sigma y minus y bar whole square is 500. Find the value of R. We need to find out the value of R. Again, what they given over here? Over here, they have given us x minus x bar y minus y bar. Similarly, they have given us sigma x minus x bar whole square, sigma x minus x bar whole square. Similarly, you would find they have also given us say sigma y minus y bar whole square, and they have told us to find out the value of R. Children, if you will properly notice, you would find over here the formula that has been given is for our first formula for Carl Pearson's method, right? It is our first formula, right? And over here, that's why we will use our first formula over here, right? Our first formula was sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar whole upon under root sigma x minus x bar whole square into under root sigma y minus y bar whole square. All the values from the above, just put it over here, solve it, you are getting your R to be 0.6. As this is the short sum, no need to write its interpretation. The interpretation you would find is only for the long sums. That is how we do our example number 13. Now here, these are the small sums in question number 14. Okay, there are 4 different sums being given in question number 14. Again, see question number 14. Find the value of R from the following data. In the first sum, we'll first of all see to the question and then to its solution. We'll see the first question. N is given, covariance xy is given, right? And say standard deviation of x and say standard deviation of y is been given, right? So what could be the formula used over here? The formula for R, what we are going to use for the first sum. Okay, from this I will just discuss over here the formula. The formula for R that we are going to use is covariance xy upon sx into sy. I repeat, covariance xy upon sx into sy. Why? Because they have given us all these ingredients for the first sum. So that is what formula we are going to use for the first sum. See the second sum question. See the question for the second sum. They have given us n. They have also given us sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar, that is 60. Now see children, they have given variance of x is equal to 25. Now what do we mean by variance of x? It means over here s square is given to you. Over here the square of standard deviation is given to you. So over here sx will become 5 and over here sy will become 6. Why? Because we need to do the root of 36. So in short, in our second sum, what we are having n is equal to 10, sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar is equal to 60, sx will be 5 not 25 and sy will be 6 and not 36. Now what formula could be used? Okay, because we are having sx, sy, we are having n also, we are having sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar. So over here the formula for r that can be used is sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar whole upon n sx into sy. I repeat, over here the formula that could be used is sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar whole upon n into sx into sy. That is what formula we can use in our second sum. See the third one. Over here they have given us number of observations. Number of observations is 25, that is n they have given us, right? Then what they have given us? They have given us mean of x bar, that is x bar and y bar. Your x bar is 40 and your y bar will be 50. Similarly, the sum of the squares of deviation taken from the mean. The sum of the square of deviation taken from the mean left given 120 and 160. Now what do we mean by that? That is, they have given us sigma x minus x bar whole square is 120 and sigma y minus y bar whole square is 160, right? So the next one, the sum of the product of the deviation taken from the mean. Okay, the sum of the product of the deviations taken from the mean, that is, they have given us 100. Okay, so what is that? That is actually sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar, right? So what formula we can use over here for r? By all these values, for the third sum we can use our first formula, that is sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar whole upon under root sigma x minus x bar whole square into under root sigma y minus y bar whole square, right? See the fourth sum now. Okay, the fourth sum, n is given to you as say 10, sigma xy is 1500, mean of x, that is x bar, is 12, mean of y, that is y bar, is 15, and standard deviation of x, that is sx, is 9, and standard deviation of y, that is your sy, is say 5, right? So now what we can use, because all these values are given to us, so over here if you remember, I told you if we need to make the sum a little bit typical, okay, that the formula that can be used is sigma xy. With the help of these values, which formula we can use? We can use the formula sigma xy minus n x bar y bar upon n into sx into sy. I repeat, sigma xy, right, minus n x bar y bar whole upon n into sx into sy, right? So these are the 4 short sums that we can actually solve with the help of the discussed formulas. Okay, here's now the first short sum. Okay, the questions what we have seen. Okay, all these questions have been given to you. I had discussed. Okay, as they have given you n, as they have given you covariance xy, as they have given you sx and sy, right? Our formula for r, okay, becomes what? It is actually your covariance xy upon sx into sy. Okay, covariance xy is given over here minus 50. We'll put up minus 50 over here. Okay, you are having standard deviation of x 15. You are going to have 15 over here. Okay, sy is 8, put up 8 over here. Yes, you got all the values, just solve it, you will get the answer minus 42, right? Your r is minus 0.42, sorry, minus 0.42. Okay, over here we are not going to write the interpretation because this is not our long sum. Okay, come to your second sum. We had seen they had given us n, that is 10. They have given us the sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar to be 60. Variance of x, that is 25 they had given. We found out 5, right? We had discussed also that as variance is 25, your sx will be 5, and as your variance of y is 36, your sy would be 6, right? We had discussed the formula also, right? This is the formula that we are going to use: sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar whole upon n sx into sy. Put up all the values over here, right, and get the answer. Over here the answer what you are getting for r is 0.2, right? That is your second sum. Similarly, they have given everything for sum number 3, right? For sum number 3, all the values had been given to us as per the first formula we had discussed, right? So all these values you will put up into our first formula for r, that is sigma x minus x bar y minus y bar whole upon under root sigma x minus x bar whole square into under root sigma y minus y bar whole square. Putting all the values, you will get something like 0.7217. So the approximate value of r is 0.72, right? So that is how you do the third sum, or the third sum for this short sums. Okay, we'll see to the fourth short sum. Okay, n had been given to you, sigma xy is there, x bar is there, y bar is there, sx is given, and sy is given. So with the help of this, what formula we can frame over here? The formula that could be framed for r is this, right? That is your sigma xy minus your n x bar y bar upon n into sx into sy, depending upon what is given to us, right? Again, put up all the values in this formula and solve it and get the answer. Your r is coming up to minus 0.6667. Approximate value you are going to write up to 2 decimal places, that is minus 0.67. That is our 14th sum, right? Fourth sum, sorry. And that is how we completed the 14th sum. Okay, doing all the 4 short sums. Now we'll see our question number 15. Question number 15. What they given us in question number 15, that is to study the relationship between the sales and the profit of a company. The following information is obtained for the last 6 years. Last 6 years, so your n is what? 6. They've given us x, that is the annual sales in lakh rupees, right? And they've given us the y, your annual profit, that is in 10,000, right? And they've given all the values, and they've given sigma x, sigma y, sigma xy, sigma x square, sigma y square. Everything has been given, and they've told us find out the correlation coefficient, right? So over here, all the values for xy method is given. So over here, we're going to use the xy formula, that is n sigma xy, that is the formula what we use, okay, for the big sum. This is the formula, you know, we use it for the big sum. Okay, so all these ingredients are only given to us, and that's why we are using this formula. So I'm going to put up all the values inside it, and you're going to find out the answer. The final answer you would find is coming up to something like 0.9375, right up to 2 decimal places. The approximate value of r is 0.94. But as this is not the big sum, right? Okay, we have not interpreted it, and as they have not told also, that's why interpretation has not been done. But if you interpret, it's well and good. Over here, just let me discuss how we are going to interpret this. Over here, the number is positive and it is near to 1, so we can write that it is high degree of positive correlation between the variable x and y, or you can say between the annual sales and annual profit, right? So this is how this 15 sum could be done, and this is how this sum or the answer of this could be interpreted. Okay, we saw the big sums, the long sums, and the short sums of Carl Pearson's product movement method. Carl Pearson's method, obviously, there is going to be its advantages also and disadvantages also, right? So we are going to see its first advantage. What they're given, that the type and the nature as well as the degree of relationship between the two variables can be known by this method. Yes, children, we have interpreted mostly all the sums. So you can find out the nature of the relation between the x variable and the y variable, and also the degree of relationship could be found out, whether it is high degree, whether it is low degree, whether it is moderate degree, that can be found out, okay, by this method, okay, or the concept what Carl Pearson had explained. So that is our first merit. See the second one. This is the most popular method of measuring linear correlation between the two variables. Yes, children, this is the most popular method. We have seen that most of the sums that we did, okay, were by the Carl Pearson's method. So you would find to find out the correlation coefficient, the methods of Carl Pearson is much more popular, and that becomes one of the merits. The third advantage, that it summarizes the degree, okay, of correlation coefficient, that is whether the relation is high or moderate or low, okay, that can be basically interpreted by only one number. So that also becomes one of the merits of Carl Pearson method. Again, children, as merits are there are going to be the limitations, right? So over here the first limitation, that it depends on the assumption that two variables, okay, under consideration have linear relationship, right? So if it is used in spite of not having linear relationship between two variables, then the interpretation based on it will be misleading. Still the first limitation. Now see, children, over here I had explained you in the beginning when we were doing the theory and all, that our chapter name is linear correlation. So over here we have to assume that whatever the variables have been given to us, that is linear correlation between the two. Then only our interpretation could be correct. Otherwise, even our interpretation could be wrong, right? So we have to assume that both the variables are having linear correlation between them. Then only we can get the correct answer, or we can have the correct interpretation. So over here that becomes one of the limitations, that if the variables are not linearly correlated, then it might happen the interpretation could be wrong. So that becomes one of the limitations. Now we'll see the second limitation. The value of correlation coefficient is highly affected by the extra, that is too large or say too small observations. Means if the observations are quite large, okay, or one of the observations is very very small, at that time it might happen your final interpretation of R or your value of R could be affected. So that becomes our second limitation. The third one, utmost care is required to interpret this coefficient, otherwise the relation between the two variables may be misunderstood. Yes, children, utmost care is to be taken as we interpret both the variables. Okay, we have seen how we can interpret, okay, as the values lie between -1, 0 and 1. We have seen how we can basically interpret our sum with the help of single values. Okay, if we misinterpret it, it might not give us desirable results. So that also becomes one of the limitations, right? So children, here we'll end our discussion, right? Next time we'll come up with new concept in linear correlation coefficient. For time being, bye, see ya, God bless you all.